So I have my own story on congealed thinking. When I first got married, my wife bought a fresh ham. Who's familiar with a fresh ham? A big piece of meat, right? I'm from Jersey City. I always thought ham came in a can. I had no idea it was fresh, right? So my wife brings this thing home, and I'm like, what's this? She goes, it's ham. I said, where's the ham? She goes, no can. She goes, my mother always makes fresh ham. I said, what's the difference? She goes, it's a ham. I said, but the ham comes in a can. It's oval. It's in a can. So, you know, a can, a little key. A little key, and you go around over the top. It's all like kind of glistening and stuff. Wash it. Congealed, right? So, so she's ready to cook the ham, and I said, well, does it taste like ham? She's going, leave me alone about the ham, okay? So anyway, she's cutting the ham, right? And she's putting it in a pot, she's putting it into the oven. And I said, well, why'd you cut that piece of the end of the ham off? She goes, we always do that. She goes, I make pea soup out of it and stuff like that. But we don't cook it with the rest of them. We cook it separate. I said, why don't you cook it with the rest of them? She goes, no, we always cut the end of the ham. I said, why do you do that? She goes, well, my mother's does it, my grandmother does it. Makes the ham cook better, it tastes better, it's less salty, all these reasons. I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. She goes, I told you, leave me alone about the ham. Now, I was married about a year, so I was trying to feel my wife out. One thing I realized during that conversation, don't talk about the ham. So I called my mother. I said, hey, Mom, what's the deal with the ham? We'll cut the end of it. She goes, we always cut the end of it. Don't forget to cut the end of the ham off. I said, we always do that. Why do you do that? She goes, Gigi always did it. Now, Gigi was my wife's grandmother. She was still alive. And I said, Gigi, why did we cut the end of the ham off? She goes, well, before we redid the kitchen, our ovens were very small. We couldn't fit a whole ham. So you had to cut the end of the ham off so you could close the door of the oven. That's a true story. Now, I'm telling this story in Pennsylvania, and someone at the end of the presentation, she goes, I heard that story before. I said, well, you were at one of the presentations? She goes, no, I heard that story. That's not your story. I said, well, actually it happened. She goes, well, but I heard it before. So I Googled it, and it's pretty interesting. In order to cook a ham in the 50s, you had to cut the end of the ham off to fit it in the ovens because they were too small back then. Now, here's the interesting thing about that story. My wife still cuts the end of the ham off, but she doesn't need to. Now, what's the point of the story? Isn't it true that we're still making decisions today about our lives, about our relationships, about our business? That was a good idea 5 years ago. It's not a good idea anymore. It's congealed thinking. We're trying to make old ideas work in a new economy. It's not going to work. We're trying to make old ideas work with a new client. It's not going to work. Clients don't want transactional relationships anymore. You know what they want? They want someone that's willing, skilled, and has the courage to peel it back. Because that's more meaningful to me than give me another 0.5% on my CD. I want someone that wants to help me. The only way to help is to peel it back. And so, if up till this point you've been successful not doing it that way, that doesn't mean it's going to work moving forward. We got to be more fluid in the way we're thinking. So.